Hello, welcome back to RetroBreak and Merry Christmas to everyone that's watching. I know this Christmas might be a little bit different to usual, but there is one Christmas tradition that no matter what happens throughout the year I will always do, and that is play Christmas Nights into Dreams. This is such a special game to so many gamers all around the world for so many reasons, so I can't wait to tell you all exactly what makes this game so special. Let's get straight into it. So if you couldn't already tell, Nights into Dreams is one of my all-time favourite games. I've mentioned it many times on the channel in the past. And this Christmas Nights, which I'm going to be talking about in this video, is kind of a demo of the full game. It contains one level and you play it with both of the characters from the main game. But let's start with how you could actually get your hands on it back in the day. So Christmas Nights into Dreams was given away for free on the cover of this UK magazine. And you can see inside they have a nice big article all about it there. In America and Japan it was given away in different ways. In Japan you could actually buy it at retail. As you can see here, I've got the retail release. And I believe in America it was also given away for free, as well as being able to be purchased. But if anyone in America is watching this and you know how you could get a copy for yourselves, let me know in the comments below, because I'm not too sure about how it was actually released in America. So in the UK we didn't actually get it in the magazine until 1997, but the year before you could buy certain Sega Saturn games from certain companies and they would actually throw in a copy of Nights into Dreams for free. So technically it came out in 1996, and what an incredible game demo it is. It's so much more than the sum of its parts. If you were just looking at it from the outside, you'd think it's nothing more than a slight reskin of the first level of the full game. Of course, it gives it a really nice Christmas theme, but there's so much more to it than that. So for the first part of this video, I'm going to be showing you all of the unlockables within this demo, and there are a lot. So let's take a look. So if you've been watching the footage from this game and had absolutely no idea what was going on, then I don't blame you, because at first glance this game looks insane, but it's actually really easy to understand. Basically, you start the game off by running towards Knights, who in this Christmas version is standing on top of this Christmas cake here, and then the game switches from being a 3D platformer into a 2D side-scrolling flying game, and it's one of the most fun games that I've ever played. You have to fly around and collect these multicoloured orbs that you can see here, and then you take all of those orbs that you've collected into the giant Christmas tree in this Christmas version, and when you've collected enough of the orbs to fill up the Christmas tree, it explodes, and then you get something called an idiot crystal, which you then need to take back to the cake at the start of the level in this Christmas version. But you don't want to do that straight away, because once you've blown up that thing that contains all of the blue orbs, you'll go into bonus time, and that basically means that now you get double points. So it's worth avoiding the end of the stage straight away, and it's worth going through a few more loops of the stage to try and rack up as many points as possible before going back to the start of the stage before you run out of time. Each level contains several different loops, so every time you go back to the start when you've got the crystal, the path will actually change even though you'll be in the same environment. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a very difficult game to get your head around, but I can promise you it is tons of fun, especially if you're on the Sega Saturn using the 3D controller like I was. But the thing that makes this Christmas version so special is the fact that when you finish the stage and when you kill the boss at the end of the stage, which has also had a Christmas makeover, you get the chance to flip over some cards and unlock some secret Christmas presents. And that is the main core of this Christmas version of the game, is doing the level, beating the boss, and then flipping over the cards to unlock all of the different presents. You do this over and over and over again. As you can see here, there's loads of different presents to collect while you're playing. It actually took me several hours to unlock them all, and that is because if you turn over one of the cards and it shows Riala, that's instantly a game over and you get sent all the way back to the start of the game, and then you have to play all the way through the level and beat the boss before you get another chance to try turning these cards over. And that actually happened to me quite a lot doing this video, and I was about to give up, but no, I persevered and I actually unlocked every single present for the first time ever. So I am very excited to show you all what every single unlockable in this game is. Let's take a look. So as you can see, there's 24 different unlockable presents, and let's take a look at them all in order. Starting with the first one here, which is karaoke. This is basically a sing-along version of the game's main theme called Dreams Dreams, and I used to be obsessed with this song back when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it. I remember singing along with this one back in the day, and I love the fact that there's actually several different versions of this song as well. And if you play the Wii version, there was also a remixed version of it on that game as well, and that's something I would love to talk more about in the future, is the Wii version of the game, which I think is a bit unfairly criticised, but that's for another time. Enjoy a little bit of this music and then we'll move on to the next present. So the next present we've got here is one of several NiGHTS museums, and these are all different sets of concept art and other graphics used for the games and promotional materials. I think they all look very nice, but unfortunately, because they're running on the Sega Saturn, the resolution isn't the best. If anyone knows where you can find higher quality versions of any of these images, please let me know, because I would love to see some of them. And here's the second NiGHTS museum. As you can see, this one contains some CGI images from some of the intro sequences for the kids. And here's the third NiGHTS museum. This one focuses on Clarice, whereas the other one focused on the character Elliot. And a lot of these images are just stills from the FMV sequences in the main game, but it's a nice way of giving you a taste as to what the full game's about. Next up, this one's a little bit different. This one's called Link Attack, and this is actually a new game mode. And this mode tries to teach you the best way of getting links in the levels. Basically, links are like a combo system, so you need to try and keep up making as many different combos as possible without taking a breather. I think the max I managed to get on this was 99, so let me know if you've played it before, what your highest link is on this stage. It's a really good introduction to some of the higher level play you can do in the game if you're aiming for a high score. The next presents after that are two more NiGHTS museums. The first one here focuses on NiGHTS themselves, and you get a really nice look at some of the models they used for the promotional materials of the game. And then the second one here is all about the NiGHTOpians and the A-Life system, which was kind of a precursor to the Chows in Sonic Adventure. I'm sure if you played those games you can see some of the similarities. And this bottom one is really interesting. This one's called NiGHTS Goods, and these are some of the actual promotional materials that they actually made physical versions of. So you can see things like hats there, mouse mats, even a bed sheet. I would love to get some of this stuff in real life. There's some more t-shirts there, there's some plushies, there's some mouse pads, there's just so much really cool stuff, and I bet there's some huge NiGHTS collectors out there that have managed to track these things down, and I am incredibly jealous. This next one is called Time Attack, and just like the Link mode before it, this one's more of a training thing. Basically, you need to try and complete the level as fast as possible, but you also need to collect every single item within the stage for it to count your lap. So it's actually really challenging. As you can see there, I failed on the first lap, so it gave me a fault, and I have to try again. And this really puts your skills to the test. As you can see, it's incredibly easy just to miss one of the crystals there, and then you've messed the entire thing up. It was really fun to play this over and over and over again to try and get really good at the stage before moving on to the next challenge. Playing these modes actually makes me feel like I've got a lot better at the game in general, and I think that's what they were trying to go for with these, so they are really cool. It's just a shame that these modes weren't actually included in the full game. As far as I know, this is the only way that you can play these kind of training simulation style modes, which is a huge shame really, because they really do help to improve your abilities of playing the game. Then below this we have another two NiGHTS museums. The first one here focuses on all of the bosses in the final game, and it gives you a good idea as to what they're all about. And then this next one shows a few more NiGHTOpians, along with by far my favourite piece of NiGHTS artwork, which is this one here. Now this is a really interesting one. This is a movie that was shown at the Tokyo Toy Show in 1996. It's basically just a trailer for the game, but I suppose if you'd never played the full game before and you only had this, it would give you a good idea as to what the full game's about. If you'd like to see the full version of these movies, then I'm going to upload them to my second channel called RetroBreak Gameplay, so check the link in the description if you'd like to see the full versions. Anytime, any place, I can see your face. You're So Melody Box is the next one here, and I think, apart from the Sonic one that we'll get to a bit later on, this is the most interesting present out of the lot. So in the full version of the game, there's something called an A-Life system, and depending on how happy the NiGHTOPians are in the stage, based on how you've interacted with them throughout the level, the actual music in the level itself will change. And even for veteran NiGHTS players like myself, there's still different combinations of the music within the stages that I've never heard. So it's really cool to actually be able to tweak the A-Life system in this way, to be able to hear all of the different music that you might have missed out on otherwise. And now we're back to another two NiGHTS museums. The first of the two here is another one that focuses on all of the bosses within the game, as well as a few spoilers there looking at the final boss. And then this next one focuses on all of the different environments from the game. It's kind of a shame that you don't actually get to see these FMVs in motion, because I think they actually did a pretty good job in the full game. But it is really cool to see that concept art of the main tower there. And then this one, this second movie, is really weird. This one's called Summer Special, and I have absolutely no idea what they were thinking when they came up with this one. Just have a look at how trippy this is. If anyone knows why this was the way it is or where it was used, please let me know in the comments, because I'm baffled by this one. The next one is called NiGHTOPian Collection, and this is another thing that I think should have been included in the full version of the game. Like I said earlier, depending on the mood of the NiGHTOPians, it changes things within the stages, but in the main game there's no way of seeing what mood these NiGHTOPians are in, but in this version of the game you've actually got this really clearly laid out way of seeing how they all feel, as well as which ones you've still got to unlock as well. Now before we move on to the most exciting present of all, we have three more NiGHTS museums. The first one here focuses on the enemies within the game, and it's really cool to get close-ups of all the enemies, because when you're playing the game normally you fly past so fast you can hardly even make out what they are. The next one is some more close-ups and promo material for NiGHTS themselves, and the last one is just more of the same but with more of the environments in the background. And I really do love all of this artwork. I honestly think it's some of the best work that Sega and Sonic Team have ever done. Now for by far the most exciting thing, and probably the reason that a lot of people keep playing this game to this day, and that is because this is Sonic's very first 3D outing, even before Sonic Jam on the Saturn. And yes, you can tell it is kind of janky, but it is so cool to be able to run around these areas as Sonic the Hedgehog. I think graphically it looks really cool, but there is definitely a lot to be desired with the way this game controls in this way. But even so, it's a really cool little novelty, and it's just really fun to be able to unlock this and run around as Sonic. And it also gives a glimpse into what Sonic Extreme might have been like on the Saturn if it ever did come out. And if you'd like to see the full playthrough of this Sonic mode, I will upload it onto my second channel. And another really cool thing about this mode is that once you've finished the main level, you get to fight Dr. Eggman, which is a remix of the first boss from the main NiGHTS Into Dreams games, with a Christmas makeover, and of course the main boss is redone to look like Dr. Eggman, which I think is really cool. Unfortunately, the last few presents here are nowhere near as interesting as that. This one's another NiGHTS museum with another look at some different enemies within the game, and the last one here, I actually do quite like this one. This one's taking a look at some of the environments that you'll see in the full version of the game. I think they're really interesting. And then this last one here, unfortunately, isn't really anything. Basically, if you play this game at any other time of year, it just gives you the option to play the Christmas version. And there are actually a few other versions of the game that are also included on this disc, which I will cover now in the next part of this video.
With the help of NiGHTS, Elliot and Claris found the star, shining in 7 colors. But the entire story was a dream.
And before we move on to the next part of this video, I just want to tell you guys an interesting story as to how I got my copy. I never had a Sega Saturn back in the day, so I didn't actually get it in this magazine. I only got this more recently just because I'm a huge Nights into Dreams fan and I wanted something related to how you originally got this. I didn't actually get it until about 2010 maybe. I actually found this on the Birmingham market. It was just at the front of the market stall, lying face down, and I just spotted it in the corner of my eye. And I was so excited. I asked how much it was, and he said it was only 15 quid, and that just blew my mind. I didn't know how much it was actually worth, but I knew that it was quite rare because you could only ever get it as a mail order thing or as a freebie, so you could never actually get this in stores in the UK. And unfortunately, when he told me that, I didn't actually have 15 quid with me, so I asked my friend who was there to stand by the stall and actually make sure that no one bought it while I ran off back into the Bullring shopping centre to the nearest ATM, withdrew the money and literally ran all the way back to the market and picked this game up, and I was just so excited to get it. And as soon as I got home, I put the Sega Saturn on, I changed the date to be Christmas Day, I just sat down and played it all the way through. I was so excited. So I just think that's a really nice story as to how I got my copy. Let me know in the comments down below how you got your copies back in the day. Did you get it as part of the magazine, or did you pick it up later on in life like I did? That would be really interesting to know. Now let's move on to the second part of the video where I'll be showing you some of the other things that you can get in this game. And as well as all of those presents which took forever to unlock, there's also something else really interesting about this game, and that's the fact that depending on the day and the time that you actually play the game, a lot of different things will happen in the world. For example, if you play it on Valentine's Day, you get hearts in the background, apparently, although I couldn't actually unlock that for myself. So if anyone has actually unlocked the Valentine's Day theme, let me know in the comments and let me know what I was doing wrong, because I read online that all you need to do is set it to Valentine's Day and you should be able to get that background, but no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to work. Also, if you play the game on April Fool's Day, you get to play as Knight's nemesis Riala instead, and that is a really cool little addition. You also get a New Year's theme, as well as different weather effects all throughout the year depending on the month that you play the game, and also depending on the hour of the day as well. I'll put a big list of all the different ways of playing this game over there. I really wanted to get footage from all of those different time of day changes, but it literally took forever just to reset the Sega Saturn, and then every time I reset it I had to wait for the internal clock to reset before I could boot the Saturn back up and then change the time of day and change the date all over again, and literally every time I wanted to do that it took about 10 minutes. So I just gave up, but if anyone's got any video out there, please send it my way and I would love to see what it all looks like. So thank you all so much for watching, and like I said at the start, I really hope you have a very Merry Christmas. That's it for now. Please consider subscribing. Please also consider checking out my Patreon if you really enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you all next week for the next one. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas.